So, in what was an absolutely crazy scenario, Teresa Weatherspoon just got fired.
Now, Chrissy Sides also tweeted out shortly after the announcement was made, and she said, "Leave it better than you found it," which was also kind of cryptic.
Well, first and foremost, it's home. I mean, this is a franchise in the Indiana Fever, Indiana Pacers that's in my DNA.
7 WNBA coaches just lost their jobs. In one offseason, that's more than half the league. You're probably thinking, what the heck happened? Well, buckle up, because this story is wilder than a last-second buzzer beater. Imagine being named Coach of the Year, leading your team to the semifinals, and then boom, you're fired. That's exactly what happened to Stephanie White of the Connecticut Sun, and she's not alone. We're diving into the chaos that's turned the WNBA coaching world upside down.
Stephanie White has been named the head coach of the Indiana Fever this morning. White, who spent the last 2 seasons with the Connecticut Sun.
Well, first and foremost, it's home. I mean, this is a franchise in the Indiana Fever, Indiana Pacers that's in my DNA.
Is an Indiana native and starred at Purdue. She was also on the Fever's coaching staff from 2011 to 2016.
7 WNBA coaches lost their jobs. That's over half the league. It's like a coaching apocalypse hit the WNBA. Let's break it down. The Sparks, Sky, Dream, Wings, Mystics, Fever, and Sun are all scrambling for new coaches. It's total chaos.
So also giving them the freedom to make plays. Like, you want to make plays, you don't run plays. I mean, everybody knows at the end of the day, players win the ballgame.
Grew up in Indiana, played with the franchise, of course, a part of the franchise when we won the WNBA championship.
I'm a forward-thinking, outside-the-box kind of coach. You know, I like to challenge them on a number of levels. They are a high IQ team.
And some of these weren't even bad teams. Take the Sun, for example. They made it to the semifinals. And their coach, Stephanie White, she won Coach of the Year last season. You'd think that would keep her safe, right? Nope. She's out too.
But maybe she was blindsided by this news. Maybe she thought that she would be returning. Maybe she thought that she did a great job. I feel like she was put in a tough situation and she needed to rise to that occasion. And I think that she did better as the year went on. Questionable decisions made for offenses, for defenses, for play calls, for who should take that final shot.
Let's talk about Chrissy Sides. She took the Fever to the playoffs for the first time in years. That's huge. You'd expect a parade, maybe a contract extension. Instead, she got fired. It's like winning the lottery and then losing your ticket.
The calls that she made towards the end of games, I feel like a lot of times there were many Indiana Fever games that I felt like were very winnable. Now, Chrissy Sides also tweeted out shortly after the announcement was made, and she said, "Leave it better than you found it," which was also kind of cryptic. The way that the Indiana Fever parted ways with Coach Chrissy Sides had a lot of people wondering what was really going on.
And poor Teresa Weatherspoon, she only got 1 season with the Sky before they showed her the door. 1 season. That's like getting fired from a job before you even figure out where the bathroom is. It's nuts. These coaches are doing their jobs, some of them really well, and bam, they're out of work. It's like the WNBA decided to hit the reset button on the whole league from top to bottom.
So, in what was an absolutely crazy scenario, Teresa Weatherspoon just got fired. I don't know why they would do it. Maybe the Sky are saying, you know what, we're not building around Angel, but I don't know. But this makes no sense from the perspective of the relationship she had with her best player.
So why are so many WNBA coaches getting fired? That's the big question. You'd think it was all about wins and losses, but clearly that's not the whole story. There's gotta be more going on behind the scenes.
She is a development coach. Look, do I think Teresa Weatherspoon is the long-term coach if this team is looking to win? No. When the time comes, you fire the development coach and you bring in the championship coach. That time is not now.
And you know what? This is just the beginning. The real drama, it's coming up next. We're about to dive into the reasons behind this coaching massacre, and trust me, it's going to blow your mind. The WNBA is changing, and these fired coaches are just the first domino to fall. Remember when the WNBA was just a niche sport? Those days are gone. Viewership is skyrocketing, and there's a tidal wave of cash coming. But here's the thing, all that money might be the reason coaches are losing their jobs left and right. How? You won't believe the domino effect that's about to unfold. So why are all these coaches getting fired? It's not just about wins and losses anymore. The WNBA is blowing up right now. We're talking a 170% increase in viewership since last year. That's insane. The finals were the most watched in 25 years, and even the regular season and all-star game broke records. People are finally paying attention to women's basketball, and you know what that means. Money, big money. There's a new TV deal coming in 2026, and we're not talking chump change. We're talking billions of dollars. Suddenly, owners who didn't care before are sitting up and taking notice. They're thinking, hey, maybe we need a superstar coach to match all this new attention. They're putting their money where their mouth is. Top coaches like Becky Hammon and Nate Tibbetts are now making at least $1 million a year. That's huge. Most WNBA coaches are still making between $350,000 and just over $1 million. That might sound like a lot, but it's actually less than many college coaches make. But don't worry, that's changing too. With all this new cash from TV deals and expansion fees, teams can offer bigger contracts to high-profile coaches. They're even looking at snagging top talent from the NBA and college ranks. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds great. More money, better coaches. What's the problem? With more money comes more pressure. Cheryl Reeve, who's been coaching in the league longer than anyone, put it best. Where there's more money, there's always more pressure. So, is coaching in the WNBA becoming a high-risk job? It sure looks that way. One bad season, and you could be out the door faster than a blink of an eye. But this money talk, it's only part of the story. There's even more going on behind the scenes that's shaking up the WNBA coaching world. Alright, you think coaches are the only ones feeling the heat? Think again. The front office shuffle is even wilder. Imagine this. You're a GM who just led your team to a championship. You're on top of the world, right? Wrong. In the WNBA, even that might not save your job. What's causing this front office frenzy? It's not just coaches getting the boot. General managers are on the chopping block too. 4 teams have changed GMs. Even championship winning execs aren't safe. Here's the deal. New GMs want their own coaches. They don't want leftovers from the old regime. It's like when you get a new boss at work and suddenly everything changes. That's exactly what's happening in the WNBA. Take the Chicago Sky, for example. They hired Teresa Weatherspoon as head coach, and everyone thought, great, problem solved. But then they brought in Jeff Pagliocca as the new GM. You know what happened next? Yep, Weatherspoon was out after just 1 season. It's like getting a new job and being fired before you even figure out where the bathroom is. This trend is shaking up the whole league. The Indiana Fever, they moved their GM, Lynn Dunn, to a senior advisor role. That's corporate talk for, we want someone new, but we don't want to totally get rid of you. They brought in Amber Cox, who used to be the COO of the Dallas Wings. It's like a game of musical chairs, but with million-dollar contracts on the line. You know who's really feeling the impact of all this? The players. These aren't just names on a roster. They're real people who form bonds with their coaches. When Chicago rookie Angel Reese heard about Weatherspoon's firing, she said she was heartbroken.
Many don't even know what it's like to be a black woman in sports, and when nobody believes in you, you had a tough job. I'm heartbroken. I'm literally lost for words what this woman meant to me in such a pivotal point in my life. She was the only person that believed in me. And Angel Reese outperformed even the craziest expectations for her. She was a development coach and she was a damn good one.
Can you imagine? You're just starting your pro career, and suddenly the coach who believed in you is gone. Oh yes, there's more to this story. The real question is, what does this mean for the future of the WNBA? With new GMs comes new strategies, new playing styles, maybe even new star players. It's like the whole league is getting a makeover, whether it wants one or not. Remember when WNBA coaching gigs were seen as a step down? Those days are long gone. Now, some of the biggest names in basketball are eyeing these jobs. With bigger names come bigger expectations. And in this league, one bad season could mean you're out faster than a buzzer beater. The WNBA coaching landscape is changing so fast, it's hard to keep up. We're seeing more NBA assistant coaches jumping ship for WNBA head coaching jobs. Take Becky Hammon and Nate Tibbetts, for example. They left their cushy NBA gigs to lead WNBA teams. And you know what? They're killing it. But it's not just NBA coaches making the switch. College coaches are starting to see the WNBA as a step up, not down. Can you believe it? The league that used to be an afterthought is now the place to be. It's like the WNBA suddenly became the cool kids table and everyone wants a seat. Here's the thing though, with these big names come big salaries. We're talking at least $1 million a year for top coaches. That's a lot of cash, but it comes with a catch. These coaches are on a super short leash. One bad season, and they could be out the door faster than you can say triple-double. Yet, imagine this. You're a coach who just led your team to the playoffs. You're feeling good, thinking about next season. Then bam, you're fired. That's exactly what happened to Christy Sides with the Indiana Fever. It's like getting an A on your test and still failing the class. So how are these fired coaches feeling? Well, they're not exactly throwing a party. It's a shock, going from the high of leading a team to suddenly being unemployed. Some of them are probably wondering if they'll ever coach in the WNBA again. This isn't just about basketball anymore, it's about the future of women's sports. The WNBA is growing like crazy, and these coaching changes are part of that growth. It's exciting, but it's also scary. The league is changing, and everyone, coaches, players, fans, are trying to keep up. The WNBA is changing faster than a fast break, and coaches are feeling the heat like never before. It's wild. One day you're on top, the next you're out of a job. Is this the new normal for women's basketball? We can't say for sure, but one thing's crystal clear. The stakes are higher than ever. Think about it. More money's coming in, big names are jumping on board, and suddenly everyone's paying attention. It's exciting, right? But it's also putting tons of pressure on these coaches. They're expected to win and win big, or they're out the door. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about the future of women's sports. The WNBA is growing like crazy, and these coaching changes are part of that growth. The whole league is getting a makeover, whether it wants one or not. And you know what? It's gonna be fascinating to watch how it all plays out. Thanks again for sticking it out to the end. Here's another video I suggest you watch. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Now let's go.